The following opinions are solely those of BoatTest.com and its test captain.
Hi, Captain Steve for BoatTest.com, and today I'm on the MAKO 284cc. It's a center console built for offshore fishing with a nod towards family functionality. Let's start as I take a look at the fishing features, beginning with this bait station. Well, it starts with rocket launchers both high and low, a freshwater sink, 50-gallon live well, grab handle just beneath, drink holders and tool holders to the outside. There are 3 rod racks underneath the gunnels that'll hold rods up to 7 feet, and the cap reel, 3 flush-mounted rod holders. This is all repeated on the other side. So now we're aboard. I've got the rods in position, I've got bait getting ready to go. Let's talk about lures. To the side of the rigging station, storage drawers, plano tackle boxes, and look at this, a cutting surface. Next to the helm, additional tackle boxes can go into this pull-out storage. It's got 2 latches. I'd rather see one so that I can open it with one hand. This storage is repeated on the other side. Now we're ready to fish. Let's work on getting underway. Battery switches are inside the head compartment. On the back bulkhead are the battery switches, easily accessible, and the knobs are removable for added security. Easy access behind the helm for installations, and the batteries are just underneath. Well, we've got a pair of 300 Verados attached to the transom. There's a platform across the motor well, so I have easy access to the engine shrouds, take them off for the daily checks. And in the center of the cockpit deck, access to a pump room, all the live well pumps, bilge pumps, through-hull fittings. Like to see everything in here be double clamped. Now as we make our way out to the fishing grounds, I've got a well laid out helm, cast steering wheel with a steering knob, SmartCraft gauges reduce clutter, plenty of open real estate for electronics, even a separate panel facing the operator, the compass correctly put directly in line with the helm instead of in the center of the console, 3-piece windshield. When the sinker goes into one piece, you don't have to replace the whole windshield. That's a nice touch. Electronics box lockable just above, and notice there's a mirror underneath so I can see the contents of the box. Coming down, digital throttle controls with a whole host of optional features, rocker switches underneath, circuit breakers next to each switch, a little close to the knee zone, especially with the ignition. I like the ergonomics, the seat's comfortable, and I love the position of the footrest. Now as we're ready to get out to the fishing grounds, where's everybody going to sit? Well, for starters, we've got a flip-up rumble seat right at the transom. The helm seat's double wide, allowing for a second set of eyes looking forward, and MAKO put storage underneath and even included storage within the storage. Coming forward, we've got a double wide seat in front of the console and then V-seating just ahead. Underneath this seat, insulated storage. So now let's say we're out at the fishing grounds. This is where we're going to take advantage of the 360 degrees of wraparound bolsters. If we're bottom fishing, we're to take advantage of the Maxwell windlass, going out to the roller, 10-inch stainless steel cleat. Anchor storage just behind. There's a notch in the hatch for the rode to run through. Now let's talk about where we're going to keep our fish. The 2 in-deck fish storage lockers, 390 quarts. They're insulated, macerated, and self-draining. Notice the hatches are all guttered, leading to the deck drains. We typically see 2-inch drains. These are 3-inch, and there's 2 of them to either side. If the fish are really biting, here's an additional 470-quart in-deck storage locker at the bow. Removing the cushions gives you an elevated casting deck with a non-skid surface.
We'll be fishing well into the night, so we have courtesy lights on both sides of the console, and we have spreader lights both forward and aft.
And above the console, we have a light that could switch from white to red. In a long day of fishing, we're going to have to use the head.
I've got 6 feet 7 inches of headroom here, an electric Jobsco toilet, and a freshwater sink.
So that's 2 sinks that we've got, one in the head, one at the bait station. Both are plumbed to a 50-gallon tank.
We also have a freshwater washdown.
Now while we're out at the fishing grounds, we might want to do some diving. We've got a dive door at the stern, held open by a magnetic catch, and just outside the transom is storage for the optional dive ladder.
Let's look at her out of the water first.
Well, looking at the stern, we've got a 21-degree dead rise coming down to a flat running surface that should give us quicker times to plane. We'll check that out during our test. Look at the trim tabs. They're recessed into the hull, and look at this. Here's a clever reboarding ladder. Bit forward, we've got a pair of lifting strakes that lead to just a bit of a reverse chine, but more importantly, look at how the chine comes forward way up to the bow to form a spray rail, and then look at the flare to this bow.
The MAKO 284cc has a length overall of 28 feet 4 inches, a beam of 9 feet 10 inches, and a hull draft of 21 inches. With an empty weight of 6,000 pounds, 60 gallons of fuel, 2 people and test power, we had an estimated test weight of 8,074 pounds. With the 300 horsepower Mercury Verados turning 19-pitch Mirage Plus props, we reached a top speed of 54.5 miles per hour at 5,900 RPM. At that speed, we were burning a combined 59.6 gallons per hour, giving us a range of 187 miles. Best cruise came in at 3,500 RPM and 30.3 miles per hour. That speed reduced the fuel burn to 17 gallons per hour and gave us an endurance of just over 12 hours and 365 miles while still holding back a 10% fuel reserve. We reached planing speed in only 3.1 seconds, accelerated to 20 miles per hour in 4.7 seconds, 30 in 7 seconds, 40 came and went in 9.7 seconds, and we continued accelerating through 50 miles per hour in 14.8 seconds. I've come to expect a lot from MAKOs regarding their handling, and this 284 did not disappoint. She's a great handling boat, very responsive to the helm. The bow comes up 10 degrees upon accelerating, and that does block the view past the bow, so the proper method will be to add full power to get her planing quickly and then pull back to cruise speed. Once on plane, just a few light touches of the trim will get the spray moving back to the aft quarters, and she'll be in proper running attitude. She does have trim tabs, but I only needed them to level an uneven distribution of weight, not to improve handling. And because they're formed into the transom, it doesn't take much to have an effect. She turns like she's on rails. At normal operations, she leans 16 degrees into the turns. No amount of maneuvering causes the props to ventilate even while in the trimmed position. At cruise, she'll bleed off speed to the point where she'll spin out and then you can blast off in the next direction. At high speed, she'll carve so well that she will easily outturn the operator and everyone on board, so don't get heavy-handed. She cuts cleanly through the waves and remains nice and dry, and when taking power off, she settles back into the water's stern first. Back at the dock, she's just as maneuverable at low speeds, and with a few minutes of familiarization, you can practically get her to deal cards. This is definitely a boat that will make her operator look good.
Well, clearly, MAKO created a very capable offshore fishing boat, and I'm telling you, my family would love this as well. That's my look at the 284 center console from MAKO. For BoatTest.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.